Hello friends, my name is Michelle Fondin and I'm the author of Help! I Think My Loved One is an Alcoholic, a survival guide for lovers, family, and friends. Today I'm going to talk to you about honesty, which includes the subjects of lies, deception, and denial. One thing that runs rampant through the disease of alcoholism is this idea of lies and deception and the lack of honesty. Now, this trait runs through not only the alcoholic, but also those who love an alcoholic. And this underlying air of dishonesty includes denial, which is not wanting to see the facts, not wanting to face reality as it is today. And so perhaps you've been so incredibly frustrated lately. Your alcoholic loved one just lies up the wazoo, doesn't he or she? Whether your alcoholic loved one is your mother, father, sister, brother, best friend, spouse, significant other, whatever it happens to be, you know in deep within your heart that this person is not an honest person. Well, let me tell you the flip side. The flip side of things is that when your alcoholic loved one enters AA or a sobriety program, including AA, one of the things that they teach in AA is to have rigorous honesty. And that is really what they say. In order to get well, you must be rigorously honest. So it can be extremely frustrating, as I mentioned. You're in this relationship with the alcoholic loved one, and he or she lies like crazy. They lie about absolutely everything. And it can be maddening because you just want the truth. You want the truth about the drinking. You want the truth about where he's been. You want the truth about whether or not she's hiding liquor in the bathroom. You want the truth about so many things, and it just seems like there's a constant stream of lies. So what are you to do as someone who loves an alcoholic? How are you to survive this stream of lies, as I always used to call it, or this bath full of lies? So there are a couple things you need to put into perspective. The first thing you need to put into perspective is that the alcoholic is extremely ridden with shame and guilt. They are very shameful and guilty for what they're doing to themselves and to others, and they don't fully grasp and they don't fully understand why they're doing it, and hence the insanity of the entire disease. So because of this extreme shame and guilt, they are more apt to lie about the behavior that is surrounding the alcohol consumption. They're going to lie about places they've been, people they've seen, things that they've done. They're going to lie about the whole gamut. They're going to lie about the entire thing. It's almost as if they're living in their delusion. They're living in another realm that they have created for themselves. Now, the really scary part about this whole disease is that they actually believe the lies that they tell on some level. They really believe that the reality that they've tended to create for themselves is actually real. And that is the air of delusion that surrounds this disease of alcoholism. Now, let me flip the second half of this to you as someone who loves dearly your alcoholic loved one. Now, the first deception that you are telling yourself is, I don't really care about this person. I could care less what they do. I don't really love them. I might like them, they might be in my family, but I don't really love them. So that is a blatant lie right there. You may be angry, you may be frustrated, you may be seething with hatred for this person in a sense because of the extreme disappointment in dealing with someone who has a problem with alcoholism. You may be feeling all of these negative feelings, but the underlying feeling is that you really care for this person, that you really love them and care about them. And so it's masked by all these other negative feelings. So if you could just admit to yourself, first and foremost, that you really do care and love for this person, you have deep, deep feelings for this person, And that because you have been hurt by the lies and deception and delusion and the disease in and of itself, that the consequences of the disease have perhaps fallen upon your shoulders. That is why you are feeling these feelings of, I don't really care, I'm apathetic, I'm numb, I have no feeling, I really don't care about this person, I hate this person. And the underlying feeling, if you're feeling any emotion whatsoever about this person, it's that you have positive feelings for them as well. Because if it was true apathy, you wouldn't be watching this video. If it was true apathy, you really wouldn't care either way what they did, what they didn't do, whether they were in your life or not. It just wouldn't matter to you. But if it does matter, if you're feeling any feelings whatsoever, it's that it does matter. So just get truthful with yourself. Get honest with yourself about your own feelings and what you're feeling inside. The next thing is to get real about the actual situation and get honest about the actual situation. You see, the denial that mirrors denial and the lies that mirror the lies, it really doesn't help anyone in the end. It doesn't help you by yourself in your own relationship with yourself. It doesn't help you with your relationship with other people. And it certainly doesn't help in your relationship with your alcoholic loved one to live in that denial, to live in those lies, to live in that deception. And perhaps you're wanting to live in this little mountain of deception that your alcoholic loved one has built, and it's built on the lies that he or she believes because it looks credible on this side. But in the insanity of the person's mind, remember, the person is clinically insane. The alcoholism is a disease that attacks the brain so much that your loved one actually has those moments, if not periods, of insanity. So they're not living in the real world. They're not living in reality as it is. Now, I'm not talking about being a dreamer. So I'm not talking about someone who dreams big, who thinks big, who has big goals, who says, I'm going to make it big as a top lawyer someday, or I'm going to be a fantastic doctor. Those dreams are real. And if you're working toward the reality of those dreams, and if you're doing what you need to do, doing the legwork to get toward those dreams, those are dreams. Those are good goals. But what we're really talking about here is this air of deception that is building a reality on something that is absolutely not real, nor will it ever be real. So for example, an alcoholic who consistently tells you, I have the drinking under control, and 5 nights a week he's coming home stumbling drunk, that is a reality based on a deception. It's a reality based on a lie. It's a reality that your alcoholic loved one is trying to sell to you. And if you buy it, you are sinking into this air of deception and delusion and lack of reality that just is not real. So what you need to do is someone who's digging yourself out of this air of deception is that you're going to believe what reality is as it is, and getting honest with yourself about what is my reality here? What is it that I am living right now, right here? Reality and honesty can be so extremely painful because you don't want to see the consequences of the disease. You don't want to see the consequences of your behavior even. I mentioned in my book, the book that I showed you at the beginning of the video, I mentioned that even I, who was pretty cognizant early on of what was going on with my alcoholic loved one, even I fell into that trap of lying. So for example, if in the early days, if my alcoholic loved one said to me, did you call my mom and tell her that I took the car while I was drunk? And I would say, no, of course I didn't. Well, in this event, there was a small child in the mix. So the child was the alcoholic loved one sharing custody or sharing visitations with the grandparents and the child, and the people were involved. And so if I made a phone call, it was in an effort to protect the child in question. Yes, I fell into that trap. Now, should I have lied? Absolutely not. That creates an alternative reality that is not real, that is not based on a solid foundation of truth. And yes, I felt guilty surrounding that untruth. And the reason I did it was to not have the alcoholic go ballistic. But do you see how the air of deception is manipulation? Because you're manipulating another person's behavior. You are manipulating another person's picture, not only of reality, but also you're manipulating the story so that they behave in a certain way. Now, the only real way to health and healing is rigorous honesty with yourself about the situation that you're in, rigorous honesty about your feelings, what you're feeling inside. You could be angry and you can admit it. You can say, I'm angry. You could be disappointed and say, I'm extremely disappointed. You could say, I am sad and just feel that feeling of sadness, but know it and don't deny how you're feeling inside. Now, the fourth thing is just to practice that rigorous honesty all the time. Practice it with yourself. Practice it with your loved one. Even if your loved one is consistently streaming out those lies, know that that is a part of the alcoholic illness. That is a part of that illness. Yes, it hurts you. It does hurt inside. I admit that. It hurts. It hurts very deeply to know that you're trying your best to be honest. You're trying your best to see the truth. You're trying your best to care and nurture this person as best as you can because you love them. However, if all you're getting back is this continual stream of lies, yeah, it hurts, but that is also a part of the disease. That's part of the disease of alcoholism. It goes hand in hand with the drinking. As I mentioned, it's for them to help cover up that guilt and shame. And through covering up that guilt and shame, they're going to lie and not tell the truth hardly ever until they've gotten sober. And they're working a sobriety program. They're really working it, and they have to work it 100% in order for it to work. Remember, the first step in Alcoholics Anonymous in the 12-step program is we admitted we were powerless over alcohol and our lives had become unmanageable. Now, as a person who loves an alcoholic, this first step applies to you too. It's realizing and admitting that you are powerless over alcohol and that your life has become unmanageable, meaning that you have no control over the drinking. You can't control whether your loved one drinks or not. And your life becomes unmanageable when you try to manage the drinking, when you try to manage the alcoholic, and it just doesn't work that way. So it's clearly rigorous honesty with the first step coupled hand in hand that starts that path to sobriety. Now, one of those that falls short, if it's the rigorous honesty that falls short, or if it's the not admitting you're powerless over alcohol for an alcoholic and for the loved one, and that the life that you lead has become unmanageable as a result of the alcoholism, without the two pieces of that recipe, it all falls down. It all crumbles down. Those two pieces of the recipe, including, not to mention, but including the desire to stop drinking and using drugs, with those things build a solid foundation for sobriety. I love you guys. Thank you so much for listening. And just think about that throughout the week. Think about this concept of rigorous honesty and what that means to you. What does that mean in your heart? Because when you are rigorously honest with yourself and with others, it's a reflection of you. It's not a reflection of the other people. It most certainly is a reflection of your integrity. It's a reflection of your honorability. And in the end, that's the type of person you want to be. You want to be a person with honor, full of integrity, and full of honesty. Thanks so much for listening, and many blessings to you. See you in the next video.